Hey, what's going on, everybody? Morgan J. Ingram here, and this message that I want to touch on today is for millennials. It can be for anyone, but very targeted towards millennials. And the reason it's targeted towards millennials is because this message is about starting from the bottom. And understanding that starting from the bottom is not a bad thing, but it's actually a really great thing. So, for example, when I was looking for a job, I was looking to become an account executive. And I wanted to get in that closing role right out the get-go. And so most of the companies I interviewed for, I would always ask for that position. And they always told me I didn't have enough experience. And I would always combat that. I'd be like, well, I know I can do the role. I know I can make this happen. And I wanted to start at obviously higher than the bottom. And I just wanted to go ahead and just get that right because I believe that I earned that right already. However, once I got more interviews, the more I went through that process, I realized I needed to start from the absolute bottom to understand the process and also to be grateful and to be appreciative of the things that I would learn later in my career so that I could pass it on to other people. So, for example, I started the SDR Chronicles as an SDR because I was starting from that bottom of the organization is what most people see it as. And again, SDRs are very valuable in the organization, so that's what I'm saying. But from a totem pole standpoint, normally not as high. And so by starting there with everything that I was going into, I realized, hey, maybe if I documented my journey from the bottom, a lot more people would appreciate that. So the thing is, by me doing that, I gained a lot of traction, personal brand. A lot of people resonated with me because I did a journey standpoint and I started from the bottom instead of being like, I want to be an account executive. And then maybe I would have floundered out and I wouldn't have been successful. So it's understanding the perceptive of when you do start from the bottom, appreciate that bottom start because it allows you to ask more questions. It allows you to learn more. It allows you to be more hungry instead of starting in a position where the expectations are higher and you're not ready to meet those expectations and they may not be as lenient with you and you end up getting fired and you have to find a new job, which is what we all do not want. So appreciate your journey, appreciate your start at the bottom, and have a thrive to learn more and to gauge the insights you need to learn from other people. It's not to have a mindset of I'm starting at the bottom and like I have no worth. It's no, you actually have worth. You just have to continuously learn on how you need to be better in that next role. So understand where your journey's at, embrace that journey, take all the insights that you can so that when you do get the next promotion, when you look 5 years from now, you're glad you started at the bottom because you may be able to relate to someone who is at that bottom spot. For example, I was doing a talk about a month ago and someone was like, hey, I just came out of college. I'm starting off as an SDR. And that made me happy because I was like, cool, I started off as an SDR right out of college. It was my first job. And now I can resonate with that person. If I had skipped a step or if I was like, the bottom isn't for me or I didn't appreciate that entry level position and I decided to go somewhere else and do something else, I would not have been able to give that person advice for them to be better in their role. And whether they took that advice or not, I had the opportunity to give that advice where in another situation, if I decided I'm going to skip steps and I'm not going to take the path from the bottom to actually gain those insights and gain that personal brand and also gain that value, I would have missed out on that opportunity to give that person some very good tips and some tactics moving forward in their career. So really think about it where you're at right now, whether you're just starting out as an SDR, you've been an SDR for a year, maybe you're at that lower end of that SMB AE that you're starting out and you want to be the enterprise AE, appreciate where you're at right now so you do appreciate that journey. So when someone asks for you for advice, or you run into someone who needs help, you can give them that help because you appreciated your journey and you weren't so blinded by what was currently going on that you don't have good advice to give that individual. So as I always say, guys, keep dialing and I'll see you all soon.